Hey guys, how are you doing? So, it's been a while, and that is actually my wife's fault. No, it's not. Again, took Friday off, you can call it, and then I didn't do anything on Saturday and Sunday, and here we are back. Slept a lot, but that is actually also a problem, I guess, because if I go to bed early, like 10 o'clock, I wake up at like 4, I can't sleep. Then I finally was falling asleep, an hour or maybe two later, and then we have to get up anyway. So, but anywho, we're back here with like an update on the metals, um, and also the gold silver ratio. The thing is, it still looks okay, but again, there's also some really bad vibes, especially coming from the crypto space. Remember crypto? We've talked about it. It looks it look it looks very poorly, breaking some very long-term stuff like a few weeks ago, if not like a month ago, and now we're sitting at 75, 95 something on that the whole Bitcoin thing, 91 even. So this is again in my it if how do I say this, if we don't break down heavily here over the next few days, I think we're good. But there are some big forces here, or people are very scared. You're looking across the board basically, and we shall see. Again, we will start with silver, the 2 hourly. Again, what do we want to see basically? So we made the famous the double top. Again, even when you hit it, again, you can't call it a double top until it's confirmed or anything. But again, you can clearly see we got rejected very hard. But to me, still silver. Again, silver to me still has this kind of vibe, right? Where we have this, again, this kind of way out here with this kind of cup and handle thing and the wedge. If that holds, it is as bullish as it gets still. There's nothing wrong with silver. It starts to get problematic when we get back below this neckline here. Basically getting below like 50 or something, 50, 49 or so. Then things get a little bit troublesome for our beloved silver, and I would say anything else, because that would be a sign, of some bad things to come. What's happening? Again, we peaked out here at roughly 54. And then we came down once, right? We had a pullback. We came down the second time. Then we had this little bad boy here, which is typically continuation. Ideally, we would have liked it to break back above here, getting back above 51.5. Basically, the legacy neckline over here. But we did actually now make that little fifth wave or third leg down from this potential move here. So, in theory, and that is why this count is still very valid and actually completely fine, as long as we basically hold the uptrend here and the legacy neckline, the neckline here from this head and shoulder. So as long as we hold there, we're fine. So in theory, as mentioned, the count should be over. This is the 1 to 5 wave, and we should start to potentially do like that, right? If we get what I would love to see over the next, basically tomorrow, right? We have Monday, is like a V shape here, getting back to roughly 51.5, and then we do this. And then it's, in my view, game on all cylinders again for silver. This should be the move out from this whole consolidation thing. Of course, if we start to come down once again, the count gets negated, and yeah, we will take it if that happens. Gold, similarly, again, we should definitely have a trend line across here, right? These are the all-time highs, famous double top. And then we are now here again, so this is a confirmed high for sure. And then here we have like a confirmed low. So what we would love to see, again, same thing, the count, if that is true, we hold roughly where we are, 4,000, right? And we start to move here, potentially starting to break out, do some good stuff, the deal. Then we have it, our go-to setup. In this case, it's on the shorter time frames, but we have hour wedge here, and we're going to blast higher in a period where silver will outperform. What we, again, the bearish view is, again, a lot of things going on here. Let's say we're going to come down here, and then we're going to make, basically getting below, 4K, maybe 3,950 or so. Things start to get a little bit eerie. But for now, we're holding, and everything in my view is still fine on the 2 hourly. But again, if we start to come down here, it could spill over into the daily, and we might have a bigger correction. Again, this one here could also be going into a longer bull flag, right, where we do like a bigger kind of thing, going into, again, Q4 of this year. Again, could be that whole consolidation thing. So platinum, palladium, let's look at those guys. They look weak on the 2 hourly. You can see here, we're going to zoom out a little bit. A lot of funky stuff going on here. We had like an immature bull flag here, which I think we can delete because it makes no sense at the moment. And now we're into a pretty, textbook kind of a bear flag. Again, if we break down, we could go down to 1200 and change. Or again, we could have false breakdowns, we shall see. But right now it's hanging in there by a thread. On the 2 hourly, we might be wedging up a little bit here. Right, we might be doing some sort of funky flag here, we shall see. Right now for palladium, but again here, if we start to trade too much below like 1,360 something, then again you can see we start to look for lower stuff here. So again, a lot of things can happen here. We don't really know, because this kind of, since the October highs, we don't really have a clear view, in my opinion, on the short-term stuff. Again, this could also turn into, again, if we start to come up here, right, it could turn into like a bowl, and then we're going to go to the highs again. So I think tomorrow, I hate to do timings, that. I think tomorrow will be a very interesting days, because we need, to see these levels hold. Platinum, we can quickly, again, I will show you the gold to silver ratio, because that is so important right now. I think people underestimate the key moment where we are right now with that. So you can see here, platinum, we peaked here, we had a bit of a rising wedge into that breakout, which by the way was pretty darn good. Look at that. This is gorgeous. Right? That is absolutely fantastic, short-term wedge like that. And we actually had a very big move out of that. Rising wedge came down, and now we're bear flagging, similarly as the palladium chart, my bad. So very similar. Looking back here, basically 2025, we're still okay, happy with it all, right? This is just internal stuff, of course. So I want to show you a very important ratio. That's an understatement. We're going to zoom out just a tiny bit here. We have 2 minutes left. I'd like to keep these 10-minute videos. Look at the importance of where we are. And that is an understatement. This 4-year bad boy here, the deal. We are, again, we are at the place where this could break down within any hour, you can call it, right? It could break down. When that happens, the floodgates are open, and silver will do magic stuff. But also, you're seeing Bitcoin a bit weak here. You're seeing a lot of fear coming in. So if I were you, or at least what I'm doing, is I'm watching this ratio here, because if we're gonna zoom in here a little bit to the 2 hourly, because you can see here we hit it there, and we actually, just before we hit that, back in October, we said we might have a kick in the face moment, and we did have that a few days later, and we hit that big 48, basically the lower trend line of the bear flag. This was very bad for stocks. This hasn't been great, right? But we have at least stopped the bleeding somewhat, to some degree. So why is this important? Look at where we are. Multiple things are happening, right? Double bottom potential, and what we want to see, of course, is this to break down and come down for a third time, and then game over. The game is on. We're happy. That could happen within the next few days. So we are watching this tiny bear flag. We want this to break down, and that's again very important, because we also have this monthly kind of channel here. If we start to break out from that, right, whatever happens, all of a sudden you're seeing an increase in the gold to silver ratio, and that could spill over into some longer time frame stuff breakout here, right? And then, you know, short-term pain will definitely be in our horizon, because again, an increasing gold silver ratio is very bad for basically everything, depending on the speed of things. So I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow actually, or maybe, you know, in a few days, that we will see a very clear direction here, some very big movements of the gold to silver ratio. And yeah, as I like to say, that's very interesting, very key moment here, short term, that could spill over into one of the biggest breakdowns in the ratio, which we like to have. But also here we could have some short-term pain going on, because we could break some stuff that is basically half a year old to the upside here. So, and if we break this stuff, we could go all the way back to 94, overshooting to the legacy neckline up here at roughly 98, right? So interesting stuff is happening. I will leave you to it. Again, this was just my view, which I typically do on the Sundays, but again, you have it here on Monday. I can't wait to wake up here and see, you know, what's happening. The level that I want to get below short term is basically 80, but to be precise, 79.9. Then we have been breaking the bear flag, and we are breaking down from this low here, and we are rolling over most likely. Good. I will leave you to it. I'm gonna talk with Borak. Yes, good old Borak. He's gonna show his stance on where we are today. Very interesting. It's been a while since I've been talking to him, and I can't wait. And I will upload the stuff as soon as everything is ready. Here. So have an amazing day. By the way, you can see the Dixie here breakout back test. So again, the Dixie here short-term strength is also, you know, potentially that gold silver ratio also going to the upside. Again, we shall definitely see on the Dixie as well. I think it's also a good guide, but use the gold silver ratio. That is the main thing right now. Have an amazing day, guys, and I will check in with the Borak here in just a few seconds. Cheers, guys. Bye.